With the event of Pope Francis's passing, the world is now asking who will be the next pope. I'm sitting down to discuss all things conclave with Father Ambrose Christ. Father Ambrose, we are filming this with the anticipation that the Pope has potentially passed away. We don't want him to. We're praying for his health. Or he has chosen to resign.
Okay.
We're entering this new moment of Catholics everywhere and of Christians everywhere in the world watching, okay, there's going to be a new Pope of the Roman Catholic Church.
Yes.
Can you explain what this moment means and what's going to happen next?
Okay, so we call this moment the sede vacante, the vacant see. The see of Peter, the see of the successor of St. Peter, the Bishop of Rome, is vacant, either because a pope dies or because he resigns. And during the vacant see, then we move to a couple of very important events. First of all the funeral rites, if the pope should die, the mourning of the death of a pope, his funeral, and so forth. And in either case, whether because of his death or because of his resignation, what's called the conclave, the election of a new Roman pontiff, a new pope, a new bishop of the Diocese of Rome. So that moment is, as you say, an exciting one, an interesting one. It's a very ancient, it's the oldest way that someone, a head of state or a head of a church, is elected in Western civilization. This goes way, way back. Popes have been elected in a variety of ways, by acclamation of the clergy of the Diocese of Rome, and sometimes also the lay faithful in union with them. That's very ancient. Or by in the modern case right now, we have what's called a conclave. So the College of Cardinals, that's about 136 men under the age of 80 can vote for the new pope. So the
it's like an up-down vote, or they put names on papers.
Okay,
like
so the word conclave is they're locked under key, conclave. They're in seclusion. They're summoned to Rome within 15 to 20 days of the death or resignation of a pope, and they are sequestered. The cardinals who are of voting age, that is, men who are elevated to the dignity of a cardinal. They're usually bishops, and they are, if they are under the age of 80 or turn 80, it's complicated. Under the age of 80, they are able to elect the next Roman pontiff. They're sequestered away. They live in a part of the Vatican city-state called the Casa Santa Marta, St. Martha's house, where Pope Francis lived for all of his pontificate. And they vote in the Sistine Chapel, the famous Michelangelo decorated Sistine Chapel.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but who decides what the ballots say? I mean,
yes, it's
where
all.
Do the names come from of who are the potential popes and
so
that they're voting on? They can
Catholic,
write on anyone.
Any Catholic man can be elected pope. I don't remember, over the age of 35 or something like that. Historically, in recent centuries, it's always been a member of the College of Cardinals. They vote, they elect, but they don't have to elect one of their own member. They, as I said, in the last millennium, always have, but they don't have to. And this is all carefully, the ceremonial around it, and it's all carefully regulated by legislation that popes have made over the centuries. And sometimes they even change that. Pope John Paul II changed some of the rules of the conclave to have 120 members voting. And so they pray, obviously. They discuss amongst themselves who would be a good candidate and so forth. And they have secret ballots. And a man wins by a 2/3 majority of a secret ballot that's cast in the Sistine Chapel. It's very interesting. They can have up to 3 ballots a day.
So they just keep voting until they get to 2/3 majority? Is that how that works?
Yes. Again, it's a little bit more complicated than that. They're called into the conclave. There are some masses and sermons and so forth to prepare for that. Then the door is locked. The master of ceremonies says, extra omnes, everybody else out. And it's just the cardinals there, along with some people to feed them and care for them and so forth, because they could be in there for a while. In centuries past, there have been vacancies of the Diocese of Rome for as much as 2 years. So part of them being sequestered away was, we will make it uncomfortable for them to be there so that we can have a new pope elected quickly. So it's usually some days, but sometimes it's months. As I said in the past, it's been even years, although that's very unusual. And they, each ballot, it's all in Latin. And basically the cardinal processes up with his ballot before the altar in the Sistine Chapel. And he makes this oath, every single ballot that's cast, basically saying, I pledge before Almighty God that the man whose name I have written on this ballot is the one that I think, with having considered this and before Almighty God, is the one who should be the next Bishop of Rome. And he puts it on a paten. It's dumped into a large chalice. There's regulations about how they count them. So there's no cheating. A man can't vote for himself. It's all complicated and interesting.
And they're writing the name? Or
they write the name down.
So and it could be any name.
It could be. But as I said, in recent centuries, it's always been from amongst the College of Cardinals, who are from all over the world.
So basically that group of 120 cardinals, they're effectively electing one of themselves, but they can't vote for themselves. And then 2/3 of the group has to choose, yes, we agree with this
Correct.
guy.
It's not simple majority. It's 2/3 majority. That's right. If after 3 days of balloting, they haven't elected anybody, it's interesting, by the way, before we get to that, those ballots are burnt in a stove in the Sistine Chapel, and the chimney that comes up over St. Peter's Square, if the smoke is black, we have chemical ways of making the smoke black or white now. But if the smoke is black, it tells the world, the city of Rome and the world, that we have that was a failed ballot.
Meaning it didn't get to 2/3.
Didn't get to 2/3.
Wow.
And then they keep doing that until the white smoke comes out, which is an indication that we have elected a new pope. And then the whole city mobilizes, and the Vatican city state mobilizes to see who that man is. It's very exciting. I was there for this at the death of John Paul II and the election of Pope Benedict XVI. It's a very exciting time in Rome. And what were you asking? If after 3 days of balloting, they don't proceed to a valid election, then they stop, they pray some more, they have someone come in and preach to them, to encourage them and sort of regroup, and they do that for 3 days. And so this could go on for some time. It's usually not so long, but very interesting, very important moment for the whole church, obviously, and for the whole world.
Okay, Father, who's your money on for the next pope?
I have no idea. There's a
Cardinal
Roman
Sarah.
Wouldn't that be beautiful? The beautiful cardinal from Africa, so edifying and holy and good.
That would be so cool.
There's an expression in Rome in Italian that says, a man who enters the conclave a pope comes out a cardinal. So usually if there's someone who you think is going to be the pope and goes in, or he thinks himself to be the pope, he's going to come out just a cardinal, not the pope. So there's wonderful expressions about this in Roman culture about how this all works. And providentially, Lila, again, my confreres and I put together a series of instructional videos about this, a wonderful series called 5 Things Every Catholic Should Know About the Papacy.
Amazing.
Father Hugh and I, who's a genius and a wonderful Norbertine confrere of mine, he knows everything about everything. We have sat down for 5 episodes of this wonderful topic, beginning with what is a conclave and how does it work, to what is the papacy, who is the Pope, what are the lay folks in the church and all of us, the faithful, supposed to think about the Holy Father, and so forth.
Amazing. We will link that.
Please do.
Thank you.
Again, that's on the Abbot Circle.
And we will be praying
Especially
for our new Holy Father.
Yes, whoever he may be.